Welcome back to me talking about Naruto. At some point, I think I'll have a name for this show, but currently it's just going to be X down, X left to go. So if you have any suggestions, put them in the comments, or if you know me IRL, just tell me when you see me next. So the next arc in Naruto is the Tenchi Bridge arc, and the name of the arc is because Tenchi Bridge is the bridge where Sasori was like, "Hey, my spy guy is gonna be there, so you should go find Orochimaru." So Tenchi Bridge picks up exactly where Kazekage Rescue ends. So Sakura, Naruto, and Kakashi and Team Guy return from the Sand Village, and they go and they debrief with Tsunade and give her the sweet, sweet intel. So Kakashi is out of commission because he used his super new Sharingan and he's not used to it. A side note, I'm going to try to be kind of brief with a lot of these points because the Kazekage Rescue arc is very like action heavy, and Tenchi Bridge is mostly talking. There's maybe one big fight in the whole arc, so I'm mostly going to be doing plot stuff. So I'm going to try to keep it brief where I can. So Kakashi is in the hospital from his new super cool Sharingan. Sakura tells Tsunade about the spy. And Tsunade's like, okay, fine, that's cool. Like, yeah, I'm gonna have you investigate this matter, but you guys need a third teammate. This is Tsunade to Sakura. And so, no, to both of them. And so, upon hearing that, Naruto just runs off and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go find a third person. And Sakura is kind of hanging around. And while Naruto is running in the village, they run into this weird ink guy, and he attacks Naruto while he's talking with Shikamaru and Choji. And so Naruto, Shikamaru, and a bit of Choji, but he's mostly just kind of like watching, engage Weird Ink Guy. And Weird Ink Guy just totally like does not get caught at all, and he escapes. Like, he doesn't get caught in Shikamaru's shadow jutsu. It cuts back to Sakura and it cuts back to Tsunade. So Sakura has left, and Shizune is like, Tsunade, look, like, I don't think that Naruto should be going on missions like this. Like, he's wanted because he's a Jinchuriki, and we shouldn't put the village at risk by letting Naruto leave the village. So what Shizune does is that she goes behind Tsunade's back and she tells the village elders, like, hey, Tsunade wants to send Naruto on these dangerous missions. So what this does is we see kind of the power dynamics in the village. So the village elders also don't want Naruto to go on this mission, but they agree under the condition that they get to pick who the third member is. So this really like ties Tsunade's hands because she doesn't have the ability to pick somebody that she knows and trusts, and it's the village elder's decision. So it's at this point that we meet Danzo. He's kind of creepy. I'm going to put a picture of him up if you've never seen him. So he's kind of like this creepy looking old guy. And we find out that he's a hardline military faction leader, and he does not like the third Hokage, which means he doesn't like Tsunade because Tsunade is not hardline military, but Tsunade is also the third Hokage's student. So he doesn't like third Hokage, he doesn't like her, so she knows that she's like in a bad situation. So Bonzo is introduced, and then he's like, aha, I've got your third guy right here. And so he enters Mystery Ink Boy, whose name is Sai. And after he introduces Sai to Tsunade and Shizune, he leaves. Once he leaves, Tsunade is pissed off. Like, she turns to Shizune and is basically like, why the fuck are you like this? Like, you made it so that we were unable to pick an optimal team for Naruto and Sakura, because we didn't pick the third person. We can pick the squad leader, but we can't pick the third person. So I'm pissed at you right now. You've kind of revealed, or you've kind of weakened my stance by taking away my options. After that, Tsunade picks one of the Anbu members, and she calls him to her office, and she says, for this mission, your name is going to be Yamato. I'm going to put up a picture of Yamato if you've never seen him. So we find out that Yamato was specifically picked to do this mission because he's going to be able to handle Naruto if the Nine-Tailed Fox is released, and he is under Tsunade's direct command. He doesn't take orders from anyone else but Tsunade, and that's incredibly important because now we're aware that there's different political forces that are trying to work in Konoha. The next thing that happens is that Sakura comes back to Tsunade's office to talk to her about the mission. And this is when she meets Danzo. In universe, this is when we find out, after Danzo leaves, I guess I'm probably going to be inconsistent if I say Danzo and Danzo. So bear with my not consistent Japanese pronunciation and not Japanese pronunciation for the name. I'm sure it'll get ironed out by the end of the episode. So anyway, he leaves, and that's when in universe Sakura finds out who he is and what his political viewpoint is. Tsunade gives Sakura the mission to watch over Naruto on the mission, just because they've known each other so long, they're friends, and kind of just to make sure that Naruto stays in line. So Naruto and Sakura go get ready for the mission, and this is when we have one of our exposition dumps of the arc, and it happens in the hospital with Kakashi, Yamato, Tsunade, and Jiraiya. So they're all in the hospital around Kakashi. It's kind of funny that I think about it, because Kakashi's just like, I'm chilling in bed, I'm injured, and like the other characters, like Jiraiya is angstily like leaning against the window, or casually, depends. Yamato is kind of like just standing kind of not stock still, but you can tell like he's proper by the way he holds himself. And Tsunade is just like, yeah, I'm Tsunade, I'm a fucking badass, I'm the 5th Hokage. So anyway, exposition time in the hospital. So the four of them talk about Naruto, and they talk about the Nine-Tailed Fox. And Jiraiya says, there's only 2 times that in my whole life that I've nearly died. The first was when I was young, and I tried to peek into the women's bath, and Tsunade hit me, and it broke a ton of his ribs, a ton of bones, or it damaged his organs and stuff like that. And then he starts stripping, and for someone like Jiraiya's hinted to be kind of middle-aged, because he's older, he's the same age as Tsunade, he's older than Kakashi, he's older than like all the Jonin, who are in their like late 20s, early 30s, and he's younger than the 3rd Hokage, who was maybe in his 70s by his appearance. So he's probably in like his 40s or his 50s, and like I do have to say, like watching him strip, I was like, he's just kind of fit, like kind of attractive, like good on you, Jiraiya. I'm not attracted to people in that way, but if I were, man, your anime muscles, I might feel something. So anyway, Jiraiya is oddly in shape. So he starts, well, he's not oddly in shape because he's a ninja and he's very good at what he does. Anyway, he starts stripping, and we see these like massive like injury on his like abdomen, kind of like if you've seen Boku no Hero and you think of when All Might pulls up his shirt and he has that injury from All for One. It's that kind of like big injury on your stomach. So he says that he got that injury and nearly died when Naruto went 4 tails. So this is when the show names Naruto's 9-tail mode. So they call it the 9-tail cloak. We find out that the technical term for Naruto's 9-tailed fox mode is called the 9-tailed cloak. So Jiraiya is basically like, look, when Naruto gets to four tails, that's when he starts to lose it. Like he's not going to remember who you are, and he's just going to start indiscriminately attacking things. So whatever you do, don't let him get to four tails. And it's during this exposition dump that we find out that like the first Hokage necklace that he got in part 1, I'll put a picture up of it, is important because, well, we don't know why it's important, but it's important and it's a good thing that he has it, and it's going to help with the nine-tailed fox. So the other thing that we find out in this exposition dump is that Yamato is one of Kakashi's kohai from when Kakashi was an Anbu member. So he calls Kakashi Senpai, and it's very cute. And at this current moment, I ship Yamato and Kakashi. So keep up with my shipping as the series keeps evolving. So after the exposition dump in the hospital, what I'm calling modified Team Kakashi meets to leave for the mission, and Sai immediately starts rub Sakura and Naruto the wrong way. He calls Sakura ugly. He makes jokes about Naruto's equipment size, which he'll do more than once. And so they are fighting right off the bat. Sai doesn't like Naruto, Sai doesn't like Sakura, and Sai does not like Sasuke. Naruto and Sakura wouldn't really care if Sai didn't like them, but Sai will say shit about Sasuke like, oh, how can you care about somebody who betrayed the village, someone who left the village? And so that's kind of their sore spot. And so they'll let Sai say shit to them, but once it gets to be about Sasuke, like, the punches are coming. What's interesting to note about Sai is that he doesn't really emote, and we're not sure yet, like, if he's just, from an in-universe perspective, we're not sure yet if he's just, like, weird or, like, unusual as a person, or if he's just, like, unable to feel or trained to not feel. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's a scene when they're getting ready where he's in his apartment, and one of the Danzo's men comes and says to him while he's packing this old book that he always packs, that, as root members, we don't have feelings and everything we do is for Danzo, to which he agrees with. So we do get a scene earlier while they're getting ready that shows that it's the case of him not feeling emotions, or quote unquote not feeling emotions, instead of him just like having kind of a personality quirk, if that makes sense. So modified Team Kakashi, which is called Team Yamato, is on the road for the mission, and they are fighting. And Yamato is like, look, we don't have time for this. You've got two options. You can fight all you want here. I'm going to summon. He uses wood release, and he makes this giant cage. And he's like, look, I can lock you in the cage for the night, or we can go check into a hot spring and have a good time there. You guys pick. I prefer to do the way of love, but if I need to use fear, I'm going to use fear. So they decide to spend the night at the onsen. What's important about this scene is that Sakura points out that the wood release that Captain Yamato, I was going to say Yamato Taicho, is able to use is wood release, and that was the Kekai Genkai of the first Hokage. So she's kind of like, whoa, like, what's up with that? Why can he use that? So they go spend the night at the onsen. Nothing really happens, which is kind of nice to have a hot spring scene in the anime where you don't have to deal with like the main character or the male characters going to like go spy on the female characters. And it doesn't give us any like gratuitous shots of Sakura. What happens is that Naruto is like, oh, the hot spring, the girls are over here. And Yamato gets out of the onsen and he's like, I heard from like Master Jiraiya that he almost died one time when he was spying on the women's bath, and these were his injuries. And Naruto is just so petrified because Sakura is kind of like Tsunade 2.0 that he just stays stuck still. And it's kind of funny because Sai gets out of the bath and he's like, okay, like I'm leaving. Don't die in there, I guess. Like whatever, Naruto. So it's nice. It's refreshing to see something that's not just like I'm gonna maybe do a higher pitch. Like Naruto goes and looks at Sakura and then she's like, "Oh no, you perv!" and like hits him or something because like if you've seen anime, you know that's like a gag. So it's like I don't need this show to tell me this a really overused and unfunny joke. Anyway, so they have this huge lunch. I said lunch. They have a huge dinner. And Yamato says that usually when he's on a mission with people, they have a debriefing every night, but because it's like their first night together, that makes it sound like they're all a couple, which I am always for poly ships. But anyway, that usually he has a team debrief, but instead he needs like more intel. So he asks Sakura about Sasori, and so they kind of talk a bit about him. Yamato, it then like they sleep. It goes to the next day, and we see Yamato just like holding something in his hand, some seeds, and he's just thinking. It doesn't say anything, and it doesn't give any like subtitle exposition thoughts. We find out that in the morning that Yamato paid for the giant dinner that they have. So it shows that like, yeah, he's really serious and he's really good at what he does, but he's just very nice and he does like care about the team and he wants them to like get along, and he's like kind of not a big brother, but like he's definitely like a mentor figure. In the morning, Sai is drawing outside of his room and Sakura goes up to him and she like asks him kind of about his work and like what are his pieces called, and he says that he likes to draw in the morning but he never names his pieces because he's not able to name them. And Sakura sees his beat up picture book that he always carries around him, and she's like, oh, like can I see it? And he's like, no, it's not finished, I don't want to show it to you. After that, they get on the road, and he lets them know. Let me check my notes real quick. He splits them into teams. Let me check. Yamato is worried, but they proceed. Naruto and Sai with Sakura and Yamato. Okay. They haven't split in teams yet. Okay, so they decide to run a training exercise for the morning so that they can really like know the scenario. So Yamato uses his wood release to mimic what Sasori and he looks like in his puppet, and they do a training simulation. Naruto and Sai's teamwork is horrible. Naruto attacks Yamato. Yamato like knows it's him and uses the wood clone which is like a water clone but made of wood, same concept. And Sai traps the wood clone and Naruto together, and he just totally leaves Naruto. He does end up like capturing Yamato, but he does it at Naruto's expense. And this is important because it does show us his willingness to sacrifice his teammates for the mission objectives. Yamato is kind of worried because of how this training exercise came out, but he's like, we're gonna proceed with the mission. And so the team Yamato splits up into Naruto and Sai being together and Sakura and Yamato being together. The reason is that because Sakura is worried. She's like, Sai and Naruto don't get along. My objective from Tsunade is to take care of Naruto, make sure that he's okay, and I can't do that if I'm not with him. That's what she's thinking. And so she kind of nudges Yamato, like, hey, like, can I, work with Naruto? And Yamato says, look, Sakura, it's good that you're concerned about Naruto, and that's very important, but you're the sole medic on our team, and if you go down, no one can help us. It's a lot like video. I just thought of this in the team comp. Sakura, look, you're the support. We're all the DPS, okay? If the DPS goes down, we're fine. But if we lose the support, we can't heal. It's like a 4-man in FF14. If your healer dies, you all die. If your tank dies, then your healer dies, so you all die. But if your DPS dies, you're fine. So that's Yamato's explanation for Sakura. During this time, while they're kind of waiting for the spy to appear, Sai has still been needling them about Sasuke, like he deserted the village, or like, why do you harp on me when you don't harp about Sasuke? What was so good about him? Oh, sorry, I'm hitting my desk and it spikes. It makes a little spike, so I won't do that. I'm excited though. So he's very much like, he's basically like, fuck Sasuke. Sasuke's a little bitch. And Naruto and Sakura are like, no, fuck you. Sasuke's not a little bitch. And he's like, says little bitches. That's basically their interaction. And so that's happening in the background. The spy finally comes around, and Yamato like goes out, and I was like, who is it? I gotta pretend I'm Sasori. And Kabuto is the spy. I'll put up an image of Kabuto. So if you don't remember, Kabuto is our boy from part 1. In the Chunin exam arcs, he helps the Team 7 by giving them intel about the exam and about some of the contestants. And then when they get out of the Forest of Death and into the battle preliminaries, he is like, I'm done, I'm out, I vote forfeit. And we find out that he works for Orochimaru. He does wear all purple. He wears mostly all purple, so I suppose in retrospect it's kind of a tip-off. But he works for Orochimaru, and we see him later in part 1. After Orochimaru's arms are sealed by the third Hokage because of the Death Reaper jutsu, they're trying to figure out how to bring back Orochimaru's arms, and Orochimaru goes... That's another name if I'm going to say Orochimaru or Orochimaru. Probably the English and not the Japanese pronunciation, because I watched that part in the dub when I was younger, but we'll see. Anyway, Orochimaru and Kabuto end up trying to get Tsunade to heal Orochimaru's arms. But Tsunade is like, no, I'm not going to do it, because he's impressed by Naruto's Takuno Jutsu. And we saw Kabuto fight in that instance, and he is a medical ninja, but he uses a different combat style than Tsunade and Sakura. His method is not punch things to death. His method is use my knowledge of the human body to cut tendons, and I don't think like cut in our medical sense, but to injure kind of the muscles or the ligaments and the tendons so that the opponent can't move that part of the body. So it's a super interesting combat style, and I know he's going to become pretty prominent as the show goes on, so it'll be good to see. Back to Tenchi Bridge. So Kabuto is the spy, and he and Yamato kind of talk. Nothing that they talk about is really that relevant. Like, it's relevant in the series. We learn that Orochimaru and like his base jumps around pretty frequently, and that Sasuke is at the base that they're at now, and that the base is gonna move soon. So that's all that's like relevant for him. Then Orochimaru just appears in classic Orochimaru fashion, and he attacks Sasori, and he's like, haha, that jutsu you had on Kabuto, I broke that like ages ago. So they were kind of punking Orochimaru. Orochimaru was punking them the whole time. And so when Orochimaru and Kabuto are kind of talking about like, no one would know about this but Sasori, and so they deduce that the only way that, the Leaf Village would be here is if they killed Sasori and he acknowledged their strength, which is true. Remember, like, Orochimaru, for all of his like creepiness, he's powerful. I wouldn't say he's powerful in the same sense as Jiraiya or Tsunade, but he's no slouch. Like, he fought the third Hokage, and like, I mean, the third Hokage killed him and was like, yeah, if I can only seal your arms, I'll seal your arms. So he's pretty strong. But I think what makes Orochimaru a great villain is that he's very creepy. If you haven't heard his part 1 theme, you absolutely need to do it. Like, the organs are just a masterpiece. And he's creepy and he's cunning and he's smart and like he's just a very like cerebral villain. There's like something very off-putting but like well executed about Orochimaru. So they're glad that Sasori is dead. And what happens is that Orochimaru likes to rub salt in the wound and is kind of giving Naruto and Sakura a hard time about Sasuke. It's like, oh, are you here for Sasuke? You can't protect Sasuke. Sasuke is stronger than you. Ha ha ha. And that kind of stuff. And it's also at this time that we find out Yamato's backstory. So I want to say that he uses like a wood type jutsu. And so Orochimaru is like, oh my god, like you survived. So we find out that Yamato is one of Orochimaru's human experiments. So if you don't recall, Orochimaru was kicked out of the village not because he's like creepy, but because he does human experimentation. And when they found out about that, they were like, this is a problem, you need to fucking leave. Because the third Hokage is like a moderate. So he would never like go out and take out Orochimaru. He just kind of ambushed him and he got away, but he didn't try to kill him in all the years that he's gotten away. Side note. Anyway, so Yamato, there was an experiment to clone or use the like genetic material from the first Hokage to create a clone, and he had like 50 kids, and it failed for all of them. And during the experiment, he got kind of chased out, and it turns out that one of them did live, and Yamato is one of them. So he's very kind of pleased that one of his experiments did survive, and that he's, doing so well, and that he's able to use the wood release. So after all of Orochimaru's talking, Naruto is pissed, and he just straight up goes from 0 to 4 tails and fights Orochimaru. I use fight in the sense that he attacks Orochimaru. It's not like a typical shonen fight. It's more like a beat down. Like, it's seeing Naruto in 4 tails and seeing his indiscriminate destruction. That's kind of what this sequence is about. So Naruto destroys the Tenchi Bridge and the surrounding area. Kabuto gets, so when the bridge is destroyed, Kabuto, who's in like the center of the bridge, gets knocked into Sakura, who's further back, and he hits her like in her head, and so she gets knocked unconscious. And then the bridge is in pretty, bad condition. It makes like a big crack in the middle. And so because Sakura is unconscious, he starts to slide down. And at this point, Sai summons one of his ink birds and is flying, kind of towards the break. And so Yamato is like, yo, Sai, save Sakura. And we have this really good moment where Sai he went off the bridge and went down, and he's flying up, and Sakura is flying down. And we have this moment where he's like inches away from her, and he just flies right past her. And it kind of flicks back to Yamato, and he's pissed. Like, you fucking are leaving her to die. So he's able to use his wood release and like safely cushion and grab Sakura from falling off of the bridge. She's still knocked out. I wrote my notes backwards, so give me a second here. Okay. Orochimaru and Naruto are fighting. They had fought on the side of the bridge where Orochimaru and Kabuto came in, and then he got like tossed to the other side. And so now he's on that side of the bridge, and Orochimaru is trying to use his mouth extenda sword to kill Naruto, and it didn't work. So it's important to know Naruto is now near Yamato and Sakura. Sai is just watching Orochimaru on the other side. So Sakura tries to calm Naruto down while he's in his four-tailed form, just like walk close to him and speak to him. And she gets attacked. Um, Kind of like him or one of the tails, I can't remember, lashes out at her and it injures her arm most prominently, but it like hits her in the torso. After that, Yamato uses the Hokage necklace and the word release to seal the nine-tailed fox cloak back into Naruto. I forgot to mention it earlier, but another reason why the four-tailed form is bad for Naruto is because the chakra, which starts basically to boil, ends up constantly disintegrating like his skin, and like his muscles are visible and stuff. Not in the kind of cool, we have an animation budget, Boku no Hero season 3 kind of muscle showing, but in a kind of like it's black because it's like blood and like it's his muscles. And so the reason that four-tailed form is bad is because he gets healed when he comes out of it, but he's exhausted and like that healing kind of casts from his lifespan to do it. So that's another reason why he shouldn't go four tails, because it's really bad. And he's exhausted after he goes four tails. So Yamato seals the nine-tailed cloak into Naruto. I'm looking at my notes. Sai, at the same time, Sai reveals himself to Orochimaru and Kabuto, and he said, I am here as a spy / liaison for you and Danzo. Like, that's why I'm here. And so Sai follows Orochimaru and Kabuto, and he did kind of like make a gesture towards Orochimaru to give him like some documents, and Kabuto attacks him. And that's important because his backpack falls and his book falls out. So Sakura, Naruto, and Yamato see his picture book, and Sakura picks it up. I'm like, what do my notes say? Because I wrote them out of order. And from seeing the picture book and just talking it out, Yamato and Sakura come to the conclusion that yes, Sai is a spy. His secret mission was to like get to work with Orochimaru for Danzo. They kind of take a break. Yamato, Sakura, and Naruto. They take a break, and Sakura kind of like is healing herself. And Sakura asks if she can learn the sealing jutsu that Yamato used on Naruto. And he explains that no, you can't use it because the first Hokage necklace is made from crystallized first Hokage chakra. And because I am his clone genetic material carrier, however the show explains it, my chakra resonates with him, but because you're not the first Hokage, you don't have his cells. It's weird to say genetic material. I feel like I'm reading fan fiction or talking about early Homestuck. Anyway, so he's like, because you're not first Hokage material, TM, it's not gonna work. So she's kind of sad about it, but she explains it. She accepts it. So after that, Yamato is like, okay, Sakura, like, you rest up. He doesn't say that explicitly. He doesn't want to draw attention to her when she doesn't want to draw attention to herself. But he's like, Naruto and I are going to go strategize across this clearing in the forest. And Yamato tells Naruto that, look at all the shit that happened, man. You destroyed it, and you're the one who hurt Sakura. And Naruto is kind of surprised, but he does piece together, like, oh, fuck, like, I went four tails. Yeah, this is what happens when I go four tails. So, he has a pretty muted response. It's kind of like, oh, yeah, typical me. Like, he's sad that he hurt Sakura. He doesn't care about the environment. But I guess maybe that's just part of being a ninja. So, Yamato says, Don't rely on the nine-tailed fox. You are stronger than the nine-tailed fox, and it is keeping you back. The more that you try to dip into his power, the more you're undermining yourself, and the less that you're able to do. Like, the nine-tail will not save you. he doesn't say you can't control it and you can't stay conscious. It's kind of implied. So Yamato is like, look, Naruto, you are stronger than this. You are better than this. And the nine-tailed fox, accepting the nine-tailed fox and using that strength whenever your emotions get out of hand is only going to hurt you. And if that doesn't matter to you, it's only going to hurt your comrades. Sakura's injury is difficult to heal because the Kyuubi's, that's the name of Naruto's fox, Kyuubi's chakra entered her body in the wound, and it's hurting her internally. It's kind of just accept the weird rules of chakra. It's not given a full explanation, just kind of one of those things like, oh yeah, I guess the chakra's in the system kind of things. Maybe it attacks the chakra circulatory system. It's kind of like a poison, but it's not really explained. You just kind of have to accept it. While Naruto and Yamato are talking, Sakura reads Sai's picture book. And inside the picture book, you see a chibi who looks like Sai, and he's on the right page, and he defeats an enemy on the left page. And then as you turn the book, he takes like a weapon or a piece of armor from them. And from the other side, it's a character who we don't know who they are, but it's implied to be his brother. And he's doing the same thing. And in the middle, they're both on like, Sai's on the right page and the brother's on the left page. I just remembered I neglected to mention the brother. Excuse me. So earlier during one of the fights about Sasuke with Sai, Naruto, and Sakura says that Naruto thinks of Sasuke as a brother, and Sai is basically like, oh, I wonder if that's how I should feel. And Sakura's like, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, my brother is dead. So we learn that Sai had a brother, and then he's dead. And he mentions that the brother didn't die in like a battle or something, that he just died of injury. So that's, the brother is important. Back to the picture book. In the center is like a blank page on the left side. I contradicted myself. The brother is not drawn in yet. That'll be later in the arc. Spoilers for the arc. There's a blank page on the left, and then Sai is on the right side of the page, but he has no face, so it's a bit creepy. The next thing that happens is Sai, Orochimaru, and Kabuto return to the base, and Sai meets Sasuke for the first time. So Sai, Orochimaru, and Kabuto return to the base. Sai meets Sasuke for the first time, and he needles Sasuke about Naruto, and is like, oh, he's basically like, oh, you're the guy that Naruto and Sakura care so much about. You're the guy that Naruto wants to fuck. I mean, the one that he wants to save, and you're his comrade. You're his nakama. He doesn't say nakama, but I'm just joking. So he goes on about this, tries to needle Sasuke, and Sasuke's just kind of like, I don't care. Orochimaru, you're late for training, so come on, you're wasting my time. Orochimaru leaves to train with Sasuke, and Kabuto guides Sai to the room that he'll be staying in. When Sai asks to meet the other people in the base, Kabuto says the only people who are there are me, Sasuke, Orochimaru, and you. So it's an empty base. And he leaves Sai in the room and is like, don't leave. It's at this time that Sai kind of realizes that he doesn't have the picture book anymore, and he takes out a scroll and is drawing a bunch of mice that they leave and they go do something, but we're not sure what they do yet. Something that'll be a bit more relevant later in the arc is that when the documents that Sai gave Orochimaru and Kabuto attacked him for, because he thought he was going to attack Orochimaru, is a bingo book, which lists different ninjas and like their ability and like that they're wanted, like so that you can kill them. So this is when we're introduced to tracker seeds. So the things that Yamato was staring at when they were in the onsen are seeds that he's able to use, and he can track you. I call them tracker seeds. I don't think the show does. And he put some on Sai's clothes and his belongings when they were in the onsen. So they're able to find him even though they didn't know where the base was. Kabuto says that Kabuto comes out at some point, and he says that, I'm sorry, I skipped a couple points. Breakout / question Sai, confirmation of his mission. They have the tracker on Sai. So they go and they find him inside of the base, and they bust him out. And they ask him, what was your mission? What did you come here to do? And he's like, well, I was caught. Obviously, I'm here now. But my mission was to be a contact point for Orochimaru and Danzo. But my mission's not going to work because you guys found me. So it's a failure. Naruto, Sasuke. Sai is like, Naruto, I told Sasuke how much you care for him. He didn't care. Why do you care about this dick? Why do you care about Sasuke? And Naruto says, Sasuke is the person who recognized me for me. And something about the way that Naruto speaks about Sasuke sparks emotions inside of Sai. Kabuto appears to kind of bail Sai out of the situation, and he's like, oh, okay, like, you were captured, because he was in the release in like a straitjacket. He's like, okay, you were captured, you're not working with them. He releases Sai, and he's like, cool, we can fight them. And then Sai just totally like attacks Kabuto, and he restrains Kabuto so that Yamato can use the wood release on him. And they then ask, like, dude, where's Sasuke? Like, I want my boyfriend. Where's Sasuke? At Naruto. Anyway, Kabuto says that Sasuke, he's just deep inside of the lair, but so is Orochimaru. So you can find Sasuke, but you also might find Orochimaru. So go ham. Sai says that he would like to continue to join the mission because he wants to learn about emotions from Naruto, Sakura, and Yamato. Mostly Naruto. Because the team is now back together, we got the full Team Yamato. We have Sai and Naruto as one pair, and Sakura as Yamato as the other pair. And they split up inside of the lair. There has to be a better word for it. Hideout? And they are like, cool, we're going to find Sasuke. If you get in trouble, spike your chakra, and we're going to come to you. Naruto and Sakura are very exhausted. So they're just running from room to room in this base. Base is the word I was looking for. Anyway, they're running from room to room, checking to see if Sasuke is in there. So it's empty room after empty room. It would have helped if they had a sensor, but I guess that's the downside of Tsunade not being able to pick third person. Naruto, when he's resting at some point, he's exhausted and he's like sitting. He might have like briefly knocked out from the exhaustion. I don't remember at the moment. But he sparks a flashback for Sai of his brother. And Sai, who got the picture book from Sakura when they reunited, he's able to remember what his true smile looks like. And he's able to remember his brother's face. And so he finishes the center of the picture book, which is the two of them, one on each page, and they're holding hands in the middle. It's a very sweet image. I'll put an image of it here. So he finishes the picture book, and then Orochimaru just kind of like saunters up and is like, hello, I'm Orochimaru. I'm gonna fight you now. And so he fights Naruto and Sai, and it's not like it's more like a normal fight this time. It's not a big fight, and it's not Naruto destroying everything property kind of fight. So Naruto's like, look, You go, like, find Sasuke. I'm going to fend off Orochimaru. So he goes to find Sasuke. And then Orochimaru says, okay, look, whatever. I don't care. Just kill as many Akatsuki members as you can. And then he leaves and he's like, okay, I have some business to do with Sai. It's implied that it's like, oh, he is a traitor now to me. So I'm going to go deal with him. Yamato and Sakura got the spike in Naruto's chakra when he summoned a bunch of shadow clones. So they busted across the base, and now they're there. And Yamato finds the bingo book that Sai brought as proof that, like, hey, like, yeah, we're with you, Danzo, me as Danzo's representative. And inside of the bingo book is Sasuke. And it's at this point in universe that the bingo book is explained. Sakura and Yamato then realize that his secret mission isn't to spy on the village or be a spy for Danzo against the village. His secret mission is to just kill Sasuke. So now, like, Sakura much more than Naruto, but both Sakura and Naruto are worried because Sai is just left to find Sasuke, and he's all alone, and we find out his real secret mission is to kill Sasuke. And Yamato comments that this would be exactly what a hardline military faction leader would think is the right way to protect Konoha. To give information about a bunch of ninja to Orochimaru to get the opportunity to kill Sasuke. It cuts to Sai, and he's using his ink mice to search through the hideout faster, and he does find Sasuke. Sai says he came to the base with the intention to kill him, but after seeing Naruto's conviction, he decides that he's going to bring Sasuke back to Konoha. Sasuke is pissed that he got woken up. More than anything, he's not like, oh, you're here to kill me. And he just destroys the part of the base that he's in. And this scene of Sasuke, like, standing atop, like, a cavern, a caved-in building, and looking down at Sai with Naruto and Sakura running into the light, is where episode 1 of Shippuden started. And when episode 1 of Shippuden started on this scene, I was like, what happened? Like, why the fuck is Sasuke here? Who's this guy with this very pale skin and this midriff? Why is Sasuke here? I had a lot of questions, and they didn't have answers. But now we're here. The answers are coming, and they don't stop coming till you hit the ground running. Didn't make sense just to live for fun. You break, but your head gets dumb. Anyway, enough of Smash. Enough of All Star by Smash Mouth. Sakura sees Sai out in this caved out area, and she goes and just kind of starts yelling at Sai because she assumes correctly, I don't think that she's wrong, that he's trying to kill Sasuke, and she just starts yelling. Sasuke calls out to Sakura and Naruto while they're down there and asks if Kakashi is also there. Sasuke actually in good job, Sasuke, you were a decent person. Sasuke kind of speaking, like, you would think they're yelling because of the difference, but it's anime. So he says, like, no, like, Sai was just talking to me about how he's gonna bring me back to the Leaf Village. And so Sakura is really, like, surprised that, like, oh my god, like, he's gonna bring you back to the Leaf Village, he's not gonna kill you. And Naruto says to Sasuke, where are your bonds? And Sasuke says, your bonds make you weak. All I need is my hatred for my brother. To which Naruto responds, Orochimaru is just using you. And Sasuke's like, I know, but whatever will make me stronger to kill my brother is all that matters. So I don't care if Orochimaru is using me. Because Orochimaru is grooming Sasuke to be the next vessel for his body. I think it's part he's trying to keep himself young forever, and also part his bodies are rejecting him. So Sasuke is the new vessel that Orochimaru wants to use. And Sasuke knows it. And Naruto, everyone knows it. Sasuke, Naruto, Sakura, they all know. So, after the hatred spiel, Sasuke says, Naruto, you're weak. You know who's not weak? Me. You know why you're alive? You're alive because of a whim. And you'll die because of my whim. That's a callback, not the speech, but it's a callback to, it flashes to their fight in the Valley of the End, where when their Chidori and Rasengan hit each other, Naruto wasn't trying to kill Sasuke, so it just scratched his headband, but the Chidori knocked Naruto out, and Sasuke did not kill him. He just left his headband with Naruto and then left. It's a very powerful moment. Actually, I do encourage you, if you're going to watch anything from this arc, to see this exchange between Naruto and Sasuke, because it's setting up their ideological differences. That Naruto's ideological stance is bonds make you stronger, where Sasuke's stance is bonds make you weaker. The exchange between them as well is powerful as well, because it's really interesting to see Sasuke just say flat out. He's not just saying, I'm stronger than you, Naruto. He's saying, you are alive because of I want it to be so. It's so powerful to use the word whim, and I'm not sure if the dub uses it, but the subtitles do. Because it's not a wish, it's just a whim. It has the connotation of being something fancy, like a flight of fancy, or it was frivolous, but it's like Naruto's life. And I just think that's what's interesting to me about Naruto sometimes. It's not about these big fights. I mean, of course, sometimes it is, and later in the series, I'm sure it will be. And when we think of the Chunin exams, we're in it for the fights, you know? And if you're interested more in hearing about the ideas and ideology, that's the same thing. The ideas of Naruto, the themes of Naruto's, how the characters and the fights represent these themes, I encourage you to check out MathWiz and his videos about Naruto that he's been putting out recently. He has one that's in defense of Talk No Jutsu, and he has one that just came out a couple days ago that's talking about the endgame villain of Naruto. I won't drop the name in case you don't know who the endgame villain is. So back to Tenchi Bridge. I will die, you will die because of my whim. Sasuke goes to stab Naruto, and Naruto is just standing. Well, Sasuke is very fast, and Naruto's just standing there. He doesn't even go to defend himself. And in this super amazing moment, like I said, these couple of episodes when Sasuke appears, I would say is like a must watch if you're interested in watching any of Tenchi Bridge. It's the equivalent of the Sasori Sakura fight. Like, it's good. So Sai comes in and he grabs Sasuke's sword and he stops Sasuke from stabbing Naruto. Sakura goes to attack Sasuke, and Yamato senses something weird about the attack in front of her, so he goes and he takes the hit for her. And give me one moment. And he gets stabbed in about the shoulder with the Chidori blade. So Sasuke is able to imbue his sword with Chidori, and he's also able to like curve the blade. It's at this point where we get a flash into Naruto's brain, where it has him talking with Kyuubi. Kyuubi. And Naruto is like, look, don't come out anymore. I don't want your power. And the Nine-Tailed Fox is like, whose fault is it that you need my power? It's you that's weak. Like, you're calling on me. Don't blame me for this. And Sasuke appears in Naruto's mind, and this is just like wild. Like, whoa, you're in his headspace. And the nine-tailed fox is like, wow, you've really grown up since I saw you. Because the last time the nine-tailed fox saw Sasuke was, I suppose, the last time Naruto saw him, which was at the fight on the waterfall. And he comments that Sasuke's chakra is even more menacing than his own, and that he hasn't seen chakra that evil since he's seen Madara Uchiha. We don't know who Madara is. Madara? I'm like, what's the English way of saying that? Madara? Madara? Madra? Probably Madra. But anyway, Sasuke is like, I've had enough of you, and he just completely like dismisses the nine-tailed fox, like how you can dismiss finals in Final Fantasy games, like that. And QB warns Sasuke not to kill Naruto. His reason is unclear at this point. It's not clear if he doesn't want him to kill Naruto because he lives inside of Naruto, or if he kind of knows about the Sharingan and how Itachi said that you're going to have to kill your best friend to get the Mangekyo Sharingan. That's something to note about the earlier scene about whims, is that it flashes to Sasuke's thinking, and he does say that, like, it would have annoyed me to get power in the way that my brother told me how to do it, and so that's why I didn't want to kill you. That's part of the whim. It flashes back outside of Naruto's brain, and Yamato, who just got stabbed, is like, okay, fine. I didn't want to do this in front of my kids, basically, but I'm gonna go serious on you, Sasuke, now. And Sasuke gets ready to use this huge jutsu, and Orochimaru stops him, and he's kind of just like, it's not worth it. Kabuto, Orochimaru, and Sasuke just teleport out, and they're like, goodbye. Naruto and Sakura cry, and they vow to get stronger so that they can protect Sasuke, so they can get Sasuke back before 6 months pass, which is when Orochimaru is going to take over his body. Sai says that he's pretty strong and that he'll help as well. That concludes kind of the arc part, all of the stuff that happens within Tenchi Bridge, and they now return back to the village, and they debrief Tsunade. Yamato reveals to her that the Anbu info was leaked from Danzo to Orochimaru. Tsunade is beyond pissed. She's gonna go to tighten the security immediately. And she comments that she knew that they had to deal with the external threats, but she didn't realize that they had to deal with all these internal threats at the same time. And so it's interesting to see that. Like, the village isn't just daisies and roses and petunias and peonies and daffodils. It's a tough place, and there are problems outside of, like, I'm a ninja, believe it. So there's politics going on here. That's more fleshed out than a lot of worlds are. Sai is at the library. This is on a different day, I believe. And he's reading a book. And it's about, like, how to make friends. And he runs into Sakura at the library, or she runs into him. And she's like, oh, Naruto and I are going to go visit Kakashi Sensei. You're part of Team 7. Like, come with us. Come visit him with us. So he goes to the hospital, and at the hospital, Kakashi says that he's going to train Naruto, and Naruto is going to make his own, like, signature ninjutsu that he can use, other than just the Rasengan, which he's good at using, but it's the fourth Hokage's. Team Asuma, which is Ino, Shikamaru, Choji, and Asuma, appear in the hospital, and they kind of talk with Team 7, and then they all leave to go out for barbecue, except for Asuma, who stays behind to talk to Kakashi, and Shikamaru, who says that he has to, like, go help at home. Sai, at the barbecue place, is learning how to make new friends. It's a very funny scene. Like, I'm glad that they went with these characters going to learn emotions instead of, like, gross hot spring jokes. So he's trying to, like, learn how to give nicknames to people. And earlier he called Sakura ugly as, like, a nickname, or, like, an affectionate nickname kind of thing, and it failed miserably. So with Ino, he doesn't know what to say, and so he calls her beautiful. And with Choji, he nearly called him fat, but Naruto stops him because that's Choji's berserk button. And it's funny because he calls Ino cute, beautiful. I don't remember the Japanese. And Sakura gets mad. It was like, why is she beautiful but I'm ugly? So it's just a really cute, kind of funny moment. I was cracking up with my housemate and my family because they were visiting, just seeing me laugh at watching Naruto. So it was a good moment. I definitely say that's worth watching in the series. So we get to see Sai learn to make friends. Back to the hospital, it shows us Asuma, Kakashi, and Shikamaru, and they're talking about how it's kind of a foregone conclusion that the Leaf Village is going to be attacked. If Naruto is in the village is, as long as Naruto is a target for the Akatsuki, he's going to get attacked. There's just no way around it. Sai, time passes, couple days, whatever, hours. It's kind of unclear, or I just don't remember. And Sai is painting in his apartment, and then Yamato and Sakura and Naruto call out to him out from his window. And they're like, hey, we're going to have a debrief. Come out. Come meet us. And, like, they're fun. Like, they're smiling. They're excited. And it does this thing where it pans from them to a painting, which is of the three of, which is them near a tree. And then the title of the work is Comrades. And this is a callback to earlier in the arc when Naruto and Sai were fighting, and he's like, do you even know what comrades are? And he writes the kanji for comrades, and so, but he doesn't really quite understand the concept because he hadn't sparked his emotions yet, to now where he thinks the word comrades, and he thinks that's Naruto, Sakura, and Yamato. So it's a very cute, like, very touching scene. It's a nice cut. And that's how the Tenchi Bridge arc ends. So, as is my usual format, I'm going to go to some of my thoughts about the series. About the arc. So, my first one is Sasuke, walking gay disaster. I'm going to put up a picture of Sasuke, and I'm going to keep this picture of Sasuke up until I'm done talking about Sasuke. So, Sasuke in part 2 is rocking this open-chested kimono top. I have a reference image up right now. He's rocking this kimono top, this indigo purple, I'll just call it purple, half, like, it's a skirt thing. He's rocking, like, these puffy pants that stop being puffy at his knees. He's rocking the sandals, he's rocking some gloves, and he's got this thick purple rope obi that holds his sword. There are just too many design elements happening here. The shirt and the pants together would be fine. The shirt and the skirt would be fine. The obi is a hard sell. I would accept the shirt, the obi, and the pants. And, you know, I love the obi, the skirt, pant combo, but that kimono is a bit too much. So if he had, like, a simple shirt, a tank top, I know they don't wear tank tops in Naruto, but even just that fishnet kind of material, the skirt and the pants, it would be better. He's just got too many things going on. So when he appears on screen, he's supposed to be incredibly menacing, strong, terrifying, but I just crack up laughing because he looks like this. Like, you're an adult. You woke up this morning and you said, I know what I need to wear. I know what clothes Sasuke Uchiha, the lone survivor of the Uchiha clan massacre, needs to wear. It's ridiculous, and if I were ever to cosplay a Naruto character and had infinite resources to do so, I would probably cosplay Walking Gay Disaster Sasuke, because there's just so many things happening, and the joy I see in seeing this strange design I would want to bring to other people. So that's Walking gay disaster Sasuke Uchiha. The next note I have is that Sai is probably the most developed character in the show at this point. Sai starts the arc as Discount Sasuke, and he becomes this he becomes his own character in the span of one arc. He starts off as like an asshole, not really into emotions, not really into friends. He's good at being a ninja, to someone who is like, look, my mission is to kill you, but my boyfriend likes you, so I'm going to not kill you. And it's just amazing that the kind of development that they gave him in one arc. It makes sense why they did it, because he's a new character and he needs to be on par in his characterization to Sakura, Naruto, and Sasuke. But, we've got we've got like 20, 30 episodes. But he's just handled so well. Like, I started the arc and he was introduced and I was like, I fucking hate you. You're an asshole. Why are you like this? But I ended the arc and I was like, you're amazing and I love you. So he's one of the characters in anime that if somebody was to ask me, what's a good character arc that doesn't take up a lot of time, and of course a lot of time is relative to the size of the series. So he's very well developed in a short time for a shonen series. If this was like a 24 episode show, like obviously that's too much time to his development. Anyway, I would point to him as a fantastic example in the shonen genre. The only other shonen I can think of that have characters with as much depth as Sai, who are developed so quickly, would be characters from Boku no Hero and from Hunter x Hunter. Both are tough comparisons to make. Boku no Hero is a modern show and it has different expectations and conventions that it's following, to where Hunter x Hunter is contemporaneous with Naruto, but it's pretty different from its standard conventions anyway. So I feel like it's maybe unfair to compare it to Hunter x Hunter, but that's all I can think of for length on the top of my off the top of my head. Another shout out, if you are interested in Hunter x Hunter, definitely would recommend checking out MathWiz. His channel has tons of videos, and he has a good amount of videos that are about Hunter x Hunter. So if you're on the fence about the show, he has episodes about why the opening episodes are good. And if you're, watch the show, then like it's always good to hear more intellectual thought about anime that you love. I'm also a nerd, so that's why I would say that with a completely straight face. My next note about the arc is that I have major shipping feels. You'll hear my opinions on ships in Naruto as this goes on. As I stated earlier, I do know the endgame ships, but I don't know. I like fanfiction. I like shipping things, and canon can exist, and I respect the canon, and I do like the canon ships, but I like the other ships as well. So this arc gives me major Naruto and Sai shipping feels, because of the depth of emotion that Sai feels is based and rooted from Naruto. So I think it lends itself to Naruto and Sai. I don't think that I'll ship it seriously, because Sai can easily be interpreted as being into Naruto, where Naruto is creeped out and like kind of no homo towards Sai. So I don't think it'll be a serious ship for me, but I do kind of have it there. A question that got brought up. A question that was brought up for me in the arc is, I'm not so sure why Sakura is so moved by Sasuke. Naruto's justification for why he wants to find Sasuke so bad is explored and explicitly stated. Sasuke was the first one who recognized him. Sasuke has fought for Naruto. He's nearly died for Naruto, as we saw in the Land of Waves arc. they're comrades, they're brothers, they're rivals. They protect each other, as we see in the arc where Naruto's traveling with Jiraiya. And they fight, they protect each other, they want to outdo each other. It's explored. And Sakura doesn't have her. I don't want to say that her motivations are less deep than Naruto's, because I think that you can have reasons that might be perceived as being shallow that have a lot of depth of thought, depth of feeling. So I think that Sakura's main motivation to find and protect Sasuke is that she has has or had. She probably still has it, but it's not as expressed as clearly in the first part. But she has these feelings for Sasuke, and I think that a lot of people just stop there and say she has a crush on Sasuke and that's all. But I don't think that's true. I think similarly to how Naruto is like, he recognized me. I do think that for Sakura, it is important that Sasuke is part of her ninja team with Kakashi and Naruto, and that all these formative experiences for her, especially because she's a civilian joining the shinobi world, she's had with Naruto and Sasuke. And so I think that it makes sense that she wants to do things for Sasuke and go as far as she's willing to go and to grow for him, because it's part of her growing as a person. He was there in her life when she went through the Chunin exams, the Land of Waves arc, the Sasuke retrieval arc. She's kind of benched in that arc, but Sasuke is a present part of the narrative. And I do think that it makes sense that because he was there, that she's missing that part of herself. And I just don't agree with fans who are like, she's only doing it because she has a crush on Sasuke. I do think that her emotions for Sasuke are deeper than that. I'm not saying that in the sense of her crush is deeper and it's a form of love, though it could be argued it is, and that is certainly one interpretation. The fan view of her typically is she has a shallow crush. But I do think what makes more sense to me at this point is that he was part of her life, her community, her team, her family ostensibly, and he's gone, and it's that ache and that pain that is motivating her. That's how I interpret her. So it's a bit frustrating that her motives aren't as explicitly stated as Naruto. Again, as I mentioned in the last arc, it makes sense. The show is called Naruto. The show's not called Sakura. However, she's a main character. I do want her motivations to be made as clear. The next arc note that I have is that Yamato is amazing. Just like Sai is really well characterized, Yamato is also well characterized. He doesn't have a character arc in the same way that Sai does, but his character and his personality are very well set up. And it's good because he's shown as a good mentor and teacher for Team 7, but he's not the same kind of personality or the same type of person as Kakashi. And I think it can be hard to do multiple mentor characters in a show. So I have to give credit where credit is due. And Kishimoto does a good job in the series of varying the type of mentors and teachers in Naruto. And Yamato is a great mentor to be added to the ranks alongside Kakashi and the other Jonin. We see in this arc that Sakura is smart. Yamato is an Anbu member, and so he has the intelligence level of a Jonin. And Sakura is able to come to the same exact conclusions that he is in the same or shorter by a little bit amount of time. And while the series, of course, doesn't point out that she's able to do this so effectively, and it's just kind of Yamato or Sakura will say it and then they'll agree with each other, I, again, have to give credit to where credit is due. She is able to deduce and reason to the same level as a Jonin in the same amount of time. And I do wish the show would point out that she's not stupid. That's something the Tenchi Bridge arc doesn't really do, is give Sakura the credit that she has for her natural talents and the ones that she's cultivated. My next note, also about Sakura, is that she's really been put on the back burner in this arc, and I wrote a couple of reasons for why I thought that this is. The first reason is her injury. When she got hit by the nine-tailed fox cloak and the evil chakra entered her body and festered there, it did hurt her and continue to damage her. So that can be used as an explanation for her smaller involvement in the series, in this arc, is that she's injured. I'll accept that. The second justification the show kind of, you could interpret the show gives for her being on the back burner, is that she's a medical ninja. And as Yamato pointed out earlier in the arc, if you go down, we all go down. So I think the show's using that as a justification. And the third reason that I think you could interpret her for being on the back burner is because of my earlier hypothesis of when Sasuke shows up, her characterization will weaken. So because her characterization has happened in the absence of Sasuke, with the appearance of Sasuke, she's going to lose some of her development. And I think that happens here. And the reason that I think that it's prominent here is because she's already in a passive role because of her injury, because of whatever you interpret the injury being the medical ninja or the combination. And it feels like she's on the back burner because Sasuke is involved and her motivations are unclear. I think that if Sakura's motivations were clear about why are you working so hard to find and protect Sasuke, then I wouldn't feel like she was on the back burner even with her injury. But because I don't know her motivations, it does kind of feel like she's getting benched in this arc. And again, I find that really disappointing. When I was younger, I hated Sakura because, you see other people hate her and you kind of fall on the bandwagon. And as I've gotten older and grown as a person and grown as a consumer of media, I look at Sakura now and I'm like, yeah, Sakura is not strong in part 1, but that doesn't mean that she's worth hating. That doesn't make her a female character who should be derided on the internet. Like, she's a 12-year-old civilian who joins a world full of child soldiers. Her being bad at things isn't a reason to hate her. So as I've grown and as I'm watching Naruto as an adult as opposed to a child, and as an adult who's able to think about characters and pieces of media analytically, it does make me sad to see Sakura with all this potential and this potential not being capitalized on in the show. My next note is, there's 2 more notes. The last one about Sakura, and then we'll move on, is that if you read about this arc in like the wikis or in fics sometimes, it'll say Naruto nearly killed Sakura in this arc. And I don't really buy it, because when I see the show, she gets hit in, I believe, the torso or the shoulder area. She has an injury on her left arm of the claw marks, and she has some of the internal chakra kind of functioning as a like debilitating poison situation in her bloodstream. But she never appeared to be nearly dying. She was fairly injured, I would say. Not like Kakashi, I should be in the hospital, but she was exhausted, tired, definitely having a hard time. But I don't think she nearly died. So I think that if the show was trying to sell me that she nearly died, it didn't succeed at all. And it makes me wonder where that fandom interpretation is coming from. The subtitles did not say, like, you nearly killed her. It said he injured her quite badly, but I'm not really sold that Naruto went 4 tails and nearly killed Sakura. Naruto in this arc is not really doing much in combat, and it's just something I've noticed about part 2, is that he doesn't really do any fighting in this arc, and he doesn't really do any fighting in the Kazekage rescue. And what I mean by that isn't that Naruto the body is fighting things, but it's not Naruto the person. It's Naruto in the nine-tailed cloak, in either the four-tail consumed by rage, or in the, what was he, 2 to 3 tail in Kazekage Rescue. So I know that Naruto is going to fight in the show called Naruto, but it is sad that like we've gone 53 episodes and Naruto hasn't really fought. We saw him a bit in the bell test, but he hasn't had like a fight. So that is a bit disappointing. My last note is that, as Tsunade mentioned in the Kazekage Rescue arc, that his special power is the ability to make friends wherever he goes. That power of Naruto's is staying strong and was used with Sai in this arc. And some people might mind, like, what is dubbed Talk no Jutsu. Again, have to plug MathWiz in this. He has a whole video about it, though it does have spoilers for the endgame of Naruto. So be wary of that. But anyway, I don't mind that Naruto plays on the trope of talking to people to get them to change their mind, because Naruto characters represent ideological conflicts, and you can represent an ideological conflict through their physical actions and fights and through words. So I don't think that it weakens the structure of the show to have Naruto do a lot of talking. It is interesting to note that his special friendship power is very strong in this arc, and it is how he wins over Sai. Though this does not work with Sasuke, his talking friendship power is not working in that case, and I suspect that he is going to need to use fighting when he does meet up with Sasuke again. I'm a couple of episodes into the next arc, which the Naruto Wiki tells me is a filler arc and is not present in the manga. And so some of the beats, the pacing, and I'll note this in my next podcast, the pacing might feel different for me as I go forward, because manga only readers will go into the next plot heavy arc, where anime only watchers, the arc after Tenchi Bridge is a training slash filler arc. So it's definitely going to affect and change the pacing of the show. And I don't think that's bad. Naruto is good at its filler and it's good at training. So the couple of episodes I've seen in the next arc are good. I don't have the title and I don't know what it is right now, but we'll find out next time. So thanks for joining me. We have 53 episodes of Naruto Shippuden down, and we have 447 episodes left to go. So I'll see you after the next arc. Bye.